going on, guys? We're back here with another podcast. Today we're here with one of my favorite professors, if not my favorite professor on campus here, Coach Mack. So let's get right into it. Coach, thank you for coming on today.
Welcome, my pleasure.
Just introduce yourself to the people. What a little bit about yourself.
I'm from a small village in upstate New York, Canastota, class of 1970, and got into coaching. Kind of bit me, and I kind of stayed with it. Primarily basketball, primarily girls, women, over boys, men, and I enjoyed it. I've worked here for 32 years, retired, and had an opportunity to come back and teach coaching, and I've enjoyed it. Had some great students, and I'm quick to tell them I give them what I call Culpeperism, my philosophy. And it's from stealing from a lot of coaches and just coming up with my own philosophy on how I think basketball should be played, how it should be taught, and that's what I know best.
So how long have you been coaching for?
I started coaching my senior year in high school, bitty basketball, 5th grade, and 1970, and coached pretty much up until now, probably some time off, I don't know, maybe 5-8 years off, but for the most part, some form of basketball.
So what was something that inspired you to really get coaching and getting into the whole, coaching world?
It started back in high school, a different time, different game. Red Holzman from the Knicks. I still have a paperback book of his about coaching. And my idols are Bob Knight, John Wooden, and Pat Summitt. And I've been very fortunate to be at all three. And you just got bit, and you just had to stay with it, and took a little bit from each coach, and another great coach, Bill Parcells, I talk about a lot. And a lot of these coaches that I have stolen from, they don't know me from a hole in the wall. It's just individuals that I follow. They're old school type coaches, and I just like their philosophy and their end result.
So when, as a coach, being a coach for 40 years, when did you feel like, what was your, a time where you had to face adversity and really sit down and think to yourself, is this something I want to pursue for a longer time?
Probably my early years of coaching. We won, and so that wasn't the reason. It's just a lack of skill, and as I tell my young coaches, know your sport so you can teach it. And I realized, because I took the coaching course here from the gentleman, Dr. Chase, in this building who it's named after. I remember sitting in these chairs, and it's just learning from them, know your sport. And coaches that I followed took a liking to were teachers of their sport. And there's just no shortcut today.
So kind of on the flip side, if you have an athlete who's facing adversity, or as they call it in the sports world, the yips, how do you as a coach approach that situation?
I found where I had to back off and let them know, depending on the given situation, you will get it, maybe not today. And because they're going to learn, I've learned now, they have to learn at their pace. And is it what I would like sometimes? No. But the objective is for that athlete to get it. And I found if I back off and let them get it at their pace, let them fail, they'll get it. And as I'm always saying, you're not going to get it today, you're not going to get it today. It's okay to fail. With me, I'd rather than fail in a tutoring session, a practice session,
in a game.
Yeah.
So just give them time. If you give them time, they'll get it. I've yet to have an athlete not get it. Just some can get it in what I call 1 beat. Others, it may take 5, 6 beats, but they'll get it. They'll get it. And you are positive about the small steps that they take to get there. And as I try to say in my coaching class, I've had months out of season to study a play, so I should know it. Where I'm giving my athlete 2 hours, 30 minutes, not 2 hours, but maybe 30 minutes to get it. And that's not fair sometimes.
Yeah.
Just back off and break it down and maybe just be happy with a pass to the wing and cut through. And that's good enough for today. We'll add to it tomorrow more.
It's kind of like the progression.
Yeah,
It's a simple
parts.
progression.
Break the whole down into parts. You're gonna get a lot further with your team, with that individual, if you make them feel important and you make them feel that they're getting it. They're getting it.
It's almost like, if you compare it to like a question on a test, like,
Yeah.
it's 3-part, it's one big question, but you gotta answer 4 different parts.
Right,
It's a lot of
right.
moving parts, especially in basketball, the off-ball screen, moving through the
Yes.
cuts.
And being in my class, I try to give you credit for something.
Yeah.
You get something right in a 4-part, I'm gonna give you credit.
Mm.
It's not totally wrong, you got some of it, maybe you get 2 out of the 4. That's better than check and it's all wrong.
So kind of even going off that, if you're giving a player time and it's not working out for them, and they maybe start getting a little snippy with you or snippy with other players, how do you, I guess, control the atmosphere if they're really getting in their own head?
Either I might move on, I have a tendency, my standby is a water break.
Mm.
And then I'll mosey on over to my captains and is it me? What do you recommend? Like I said, maybe forget it and move on to something else. Or maybe I'd like for my captains or upperclassmen that we've talked about in class and saying, Coach, I've got it. I know what you want. I'll let them teach it. It doesn't bother me. Maybe in my earlier coaching days it would have. But today, no. If you can get it across, if you can say the right word, if you can use today's terms, I'm old school. So if you can get it across, that's what it's all about. It's all about that smile on that athlete's face, especially a youngster. They're going to learn if they feel comfortable. And just find something positive to let them know that's it. I enjoy working with 5th and 6th graders, just getting them to run out to the sideline and start a fast break. That's a step in the right direction. That's a step in the right direction.
So do you feel sometimes it's easier for an athlete to connect with another athlete than you approaching the situation as, like, I guess, the one in charge? Is it, like you said, that feeling of comfortability? Do you feel it's easier for the athlete to connect with the captain because it's like, oh, well, if coach comes at me, he's angry, rather than the captain saying, he's not angry, just handle it this way, move on. Think of other ways to create that positive energy.
It's different today than it was in the past. Just a connection, coming from a peer, whether we want to admit it or not, sometimes as a coach, it's our tone of voice. And where I think it's not bad, dangerous, whatever term you want to use, threatening, a peer is just different.
Yeah.
They've heard what I said, and they're putting it in their terms, and they're just softer. You know, when I coached AAU, I had assistants. I would always say I was a bad cop. They were the good cops, and they would soften the blow, or they would suggest something to me that's better for the team / athlete. And I personally like that. I don't know it all. I don't want to know it all. I want to win. And if they can come up with a better way, and that athlete feels she is contributing, because I'm mostly AAU was females,
if she's contributing, I'm going to get a lot more out of her.
Yeah.
A lot more out of her.
And it's always the exact saying is something like players win games and coaches lose games, or whatever that case is. Like,
Coaches need players. And if you got the players, now they need you.
yeah,
They need your knowledge on how you think the game should be played. But players, you need players, a different type of players. As I like to say, you need Chiefs, you need Indians. Hopefully I'm not offending anybody. And you just need a couple of kids or one young lady that's just happy to be on the team. I see something in her that nobody else sees, and you're grooming her to be the player you see that she could be.
I think a perfect example of that is like the other night when Draymond Green was getting into it with whoever he was getting into. I think it was the Pelicans game. He was screaming and arguing with Brendan Ingram, and then someone else got involved, and he was in his ear. And Steve Kerr subbed him out, and you could read his lips like Draymond was saying, "I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine." But the announcers, I don't remember who it was, were praising Steve Kerr because a rookie coach isn't going to see that. Next thing you know, Draymond, who I think is probably the most important player on that team, could have lost in the game. They were down 20, and they ended up winning by like 20.
The days are gone, I think, where you get in an athlete's face.
Yeah.
Maybe in practice, maybe, but not showtime.
Yeah.
And so on. That's not the time. And some players, I just found, you take them out, you look at them, you okay, yep, tap me when you're ready to go back in, and I'll put them back in.
Yeah, I just need that cool down.
Yes, and everybody's different, and they react different. And 20 years ago when I played, way back more than 20, it was different.
Yeah.
So today, athletes are different. They have feelings.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. Athletes today have feelings, and you as a head coach need to know your roster's feelings. Each and then every. There's athletes I could scream and yell at, get in their face, and there's others you call their name out. You know what you should have done, right? Yes, coach. Go do it next time? Yes. Okay, that's good enough.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing with like even just relationships in general. Like, I know I can go to you and say I'm having a problem with this, and this, and we talk it out. But there's people that I'm friends with that you can only text them, or you can't yell at them, or you can yell at them, they'll take it differently. Like, I feel like being a coach is another one of those relationships that people forget about. Coaches build bonds with the players.
Yes.
That's why you see, like, if someone gets traded or someone has to get cut, coaches don't want to be the one to do it.
Yes, it hurts.
It hurts, and they start crying. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. Look at Greg Popovich. He's been coaching for a long time.
A long time. You make friendships.
Yeah.
I've done that in 14 years of teaching.
Yeah.
There's students that come back, and we go out to lunch.
Yeah.
And I was recognized by one of my students last semester as a Pillar Award. And she came back. We got together at a basketball game. So did I ever think that was going to happen to me? No. No. But it does. People have asked me, students have asked me for letters of recommendation. Again, did I ever think I was going to do that? No. But you do. And so looking back, where I didn't, you just don't know what pulls you together.
Yeah.
You know, and players, some you can coach hard and some you can't. So it's been a great ride.
Yeah, and I think something that I've also learned from you as some of the adversity that I face is I'm not reaching millions of people. And for you, you're coaching or teaching, however you like to phrase it, like 90 to 100 kids a semester, let's just say. But you only care if you reach one. You don't care. And that's something that just by doing this, I've learned that it's not growing as fast as I wanted to, because obviously it takes time. But I had someone text me the other day, and she was like, "You're not reaching the millions yet." And that keyword of yet, because obviously we all have goals. But there's 2, 3, 4, 5 people that text me every week waiting for one of these podcasts to come out. And that's the important part.
Yeah.
I talked about it with someone the other day of being like the half glass full, not having it the half glass empty. We talked about how not everything should be looked at as wins and losses and highs and lows. If it's a 5-person, like we were talking about it with Sunday Swim, they're called. If 5 extra people show up to one of their events, they never decreased. But if the next week they have 100 people, then it's a higher high. So there's no wins and losses. It's just everything's perspective and how you look at it. Like maybe you as a coach go into a game and you're supposed to lose by 20, and you either win or maybe you lose on a buzzer beater. But you didn't lose as bad as everyone thought. It's a win. Your team feels better because now it's something to strive for.
Yeah, that's it. The players feel better. They know they competed. They know, quote unquote, I did my job. For a better lack of term, wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
But and those are the close ones. Hopefully down the road, you play them again.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ball game, and maybe the breaks will fall your way.
Yeah. So kind of like going off this kind of subject of being catch a break next time, or you beat them next time because you know you can. What were some of the highlights of your coaching career so far?
I enjoy making players better players, and better players great players. I coach them hard, and some understand it. Majority in AAU, they kind of knew what they were getting into. High school, they kind of knew my reputation, and so it wasn't as big a surprise. AAU, they heard about me, and everybody, the standard line kind of was, oh, my daughter can take it. You know, well, we'll see once I bark at her. But I had a young lady that I used to tutor in basketball, so I put her on my AAU team. And first practice, I just was all over her. I truly was a bad guy. And at the end, one of my players, I think, texted her and said, hey, welcome to the club. We've all been there. You know, he knows what he's doing, which she knew because, like, I tutored her.
Yeah.
But it's just different as a coach.
Yeah.
But everybody's, I've had players I could go off on, and they're fine.
Yeah.
And kind of my thing is I get going, I get wound up to break the ice. Coach, what's my name? Never mind what your name is. But they're okay with that. And with me in AAU, and even in high school, I have chairs. I want parents to stay.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those, hey, it's private. I stay. See why I bark at your child, and so on. And in AAU, I never had a parent tell me to back off. Never.
And so one of your most famous lines is, what happened first? You messing up or me screaming?
Yeah. What came first? You screwing up or me barking at you? And me screwing up. Okay. And so on. But the biggest thing I found is I yelled at the superstar like I did the 12th player. I didn't discriminate. And I think that's where coaches sometimes go wrong, especially young coaches.
Yeah.
And you treat everybody the same. You truly do. But you've got to find that out. You've got to find that out. Quick story, we had a foreign exchange student, I think from Japan, if I remember correctly, and I didn't yell at her. She made mistakes, and I never yelled at her. And she consciously made mistakes, I think, the second and third day. Her family called, her American family called, Mrs. Mack, we got a problem with so-and-so. And what do you mean? Well, she doesn't feel like she's part of the team. Does she make mistakes? I said, yes. Do you correct them? No. I let it go. Mac, can't do that. Can't do that. You got to treat her like everybody else because she notices it. And she's making mistakes on purpose, wanting you to correct it, and you will. And I'll never forget it. Next day, she made a mistake. I blew the whistle, and I barked at her. At her teammates, she kind of looked at her teammates and said, you could be asked what you think. She goes, Coach, local. And, I learned from that experience. That was earlier in my coaching career, probably my third or fourth year in. And you treat everybody the same. And I truly do that in AAU. And sometimes I think it's a shock to families.
Yeah.
And because pretty much my players want to play for me, especially in AAU. Maybe they pull the wool over my eye, but I don't think so. It's just being who I am, and my players have always accepted me, just like my students. I've always accepted me. Probably better, definitely athletes better than families.
Yeah.
And students, once they see I treat everybody the same, they're okay. My reputation precedes me.
So what is something over your years, even early years, what is something that has kept you motivated to keep coaching?
I enjoy making players better. If they're willing to put the time in, if they're willing to be coached hard, I'm there for them. And I just love to see players get better out of season, bring something new to the table, as I like to say, for the following season.
So building up these like relationships and making people better, do you feel it helps you as like, I guess, a person to like put your head on the pillow at night knowing you did everything you can, they've done everything they can?
Not everybody's going to be the all-league player, the all-state player. But I like to think I can find something that they can do. And I think that's my job as a coach, is to find something that young lady can do and make her the best at it. Not everybody is good at shooting the basketball. Not everybody is good dribbling. So I try to put players in their strength. The majority of the time, the athlete's okay with it. It's the family that's not. They sometimes think they're better than what they are, and to me, it's about the team and the team winning, and put kids in settings where they will succeed. But it works for me, and again, teammates may talk to them and so on, and explain why, whatever role I put them in.
So kind of wrapping up a little bit, what are some, I guess, motivation you'd give to people, or if you want to share some of your Culpepperisms that would kind of wrap up this and kind of prove to everyone that, like, you are who you are because of how you've came up and things like that?
You know, be a teacher of whatever sport you want to coach. Be able to have answers. Today's athletes want answers. If you're going to bark at them, they want you to show them how to do it so they can mimic it. And again, I think it's patience. Give them time, and find something to be positive about. Don't always be negative. You know, they do something right. I love it when my players laugh at me. You know, I know when I first started off in coaching, you know, you didn't show disrespect. I do a lot of funny things. Some of it's consciously, some of it's not. And I have no problem with my players laughing at me, telling me, Coach, you dress funny, or you know, do you realize this, that, and the other, and so on. Because when they do something wrong, I have no problem laughing at them, no conscious, you know, and so on. You know, just be yourself, and your players will adjust. Don't be one way one day, this way, then the next way you're different. You confuse the young man, the young lady. Just be who you are, and they'll adjust. The players will adjust. They may not like it, but they will adjust, and they'll get to the point where they understand, and so on. And today, I try to tell my kids and my coach, it's not about liking, it's about trusting. Players got to trust you. You have to trust the player.
And same thing with respect.
Yes.
You don't have to like me.
Right.
I just ask you to respect me.
Just respect me, because I may not like you, and I've coached athletes I haven't liked, but I do respect you, and so on. And whether I want to admit it or not, or you, I want to make you better. You may not like how I do it, but I want to make you better, because the better you are, the better team we have. And the object at varsity is about winning.
Yeah. So, Coach, thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for trusting me.
Well, I trust you and I respect you. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.